Day, EJ Smith tells us the latest with AJ Brown, and the professor is here in class, so get ready to throw those panties on the stage. Coming up next on the PHLY Eagles podcast. Hello, everybody! Live from the Xfinity Studio. Welcome to the PHLY Eagles podcast presented by Bet365 and Ashley. I'm Bo Wulf, joined by the professor himself, Deniz. Did I say your last name? Do you care if I say your last name? It's a nice shirt.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You know, last week, EJ had mentioned we're doing Flannel Fridays.
Yeah. Do you think I was going to remember that?
I mean, no, but maybe EJ did. We'll see.
Maybe
I don't know. Is EJ wearing flannel today?
I don't remember what he was wearing
right?
today. I did see him, and I unfortunately didn't make enough of a dent in my memory to remember what it is he's wearing.
Well, at least one of us remembered. So,
I actually have a question for you, because this was the we're gonna hear from EJ Smith. He's gonna join us in a little bit. We're gonna break down this game. Professor has a lot of thoughts on the defense. Obviously, we're gonna get into what we might see on offense as well. The question that EJ was batting around with the rest of the reporters before Nick Sirianni's press conference today: give me your Mount Rushmore of solo female artists.
wow. Solo female artists. Mount Rushmore. Man, this is so hard without any prep whatsoever. Just like,
well, think about it. You know,
I mean, you could have given me like 5 minutes.
You can ruminate on it.
All right, let me come back to it. I'm going to work on it.
When I'll tell you what,
I'll work on it during the show.
Put a pin in it, and then when EJ joins, that's how we'll begin the conversation. So you've got until then.
All time.
All time.
Musical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. Like,
I don't know. No, Emily Dickinson.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. No performing arts like outside of music.
I mean, you could.
No, but that wasn't the question.
The goal. Yeah.
Okay. See, there's so many bands I like that have female
leads.
You know, like the front person is female. Yeah, but solo like really makes it harder for me because, yeah. All right, well, I'll work on it.
Okay.
I'll think about it.
You don't sound so good.
I know the first one. I know one for sure.
Eve.
I mean, just like easily number one. But the other three I have to think about.
Okay.
Yeah. Because when people ask me the question, if you could go to any point in time and see a live performance in a given venue, given time, who would you see?
People asking you this a lot?
People used to ask, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just on the street, I'd just be walking down. They'd be like, Professor.
When you biked past Brandon Brooks and Isaac Sayamalu at Park, and you said, the starting guards, they responded, if you could see any musical artists.
They did not. No, they did not.
Okay.
The Brandon, as we went over then, Brandon was very
I'm only
very
now appreciating
polite.
the color coordination you have going on here.
Thanks. Yeah,
Light blue undershirt.
See, give me a little bit of time.
Tone of blue in the flannel, and then the blue hat.
Yeah, it's because I spent like 3 minutes picking out the outfit. You know, if I had 3 minutes to think about this Mount Rushmore thing, I would have hit it out of the park. But yeah, no, I got one. So far.
Oh, but you're not gonna.
No. We're teasing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the defense, because usually we start the show with
you are the alarmist about the Eagles' defense. I think you are more of an alarmist than pretty much anybody else, right?
I would call myself a realist.
No, I told you last week I was starting to come around to being alarmed as well. But, step back. It's been 7 games. This was the best defense in the NFL last year. And this year, 17th by DVOA. Right, 8th against the pass, 23rd against the run, 13th by APA per drive, 17th in points per drive, You look at success rate
versus the offense being 10th in DVOA. And I think if you were to poll Eagles fans about which unit has been better this year, most of them would say the defense.
Yeah, and you made the case on Monday. I don't know how much you thought about it for success rate mattering more on defense.
I think I stand by this.
I like it to the degree that if you think that the main EPA driver on defense is turnovers, and turnovers are somewhat random,
right?
And maybe more a function of the offense making a mistake than the defense, then I'm with you on that. Now, it does depend a little bit on situational. You know me, I'm a big series conversion rate guy. Like, I think series conversion rate is like the most correlated to winning of any of the big metrics.
Explain one more time what that means.
So basically, series conversion rate is when the other team has a 1st and 10, do they get a first down out of that? It doesn't matter if they get it on first down.
Every series of downs counts.
Right. So, like, if you get it on first down, success rate would call that a 1-for-1. If you have 3 failures and then you get it on 4th down, success rate would be 1-for-4.
Right.
So there's a big difference. But series conversion rate, it's just 1-for-1 either way. And over the course of the season, we see that series conversion rate is more correlated with all of the other, the things that really matter, like points, winning, than any of the other things.
And so my guess is that the Eagles' offensive series conversion rate is lower than their EPA because of all those 3 and outs.
Yeah, the Eagles' offensive series conversion rate is 19th.
Okay.
And we're used to seeing it in the top 5 over the course of the last 3 years.
Okay.
And so, and the EPA per drive is 12th. So,
And how about on defense?
Well, on defense, the series conversion rate last year was also top 5, and this year it is 21st. I mean, they're just giving up lots of long drives, first downs. Now, the reason that they've held the points down to some degree is because they are awesome in the red zone, right? Like 3rd in the red zone. Last week was a great example when the Vikings were 1 for 6 in the red zone. And you see Fangio come up with these really cool calls in the red zone, unconventional things that they're not looking for. So it's not necessarily coincidence that they're good in the red zone. They might just really be good at it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, that's a small sample size. You can't always bank on stopping the other team.
A ticky-tack holding call being thrown.
Ticky-tack holding, quarterback misses a throw.
Yeah.
I mean, Hawkinson's wide open on that one where Mukuba just didn't cover him. More on that in a second.
Don't call me a moron.
And Wentz just missed him. I'll call you whatever. Yeah, so I mean, I guess the question is, after seeing that Vikings game, were you still concerned? Because it was like the Vikings literally scored on every drive in the second half. Now it's easy to say you held them to field goals and you had the lead the whole time. It's okay, but not getting a single stop in the second half is normally not a good thing for the defense. And it wasn't like a field position thing; like they were letting them drive down the field every time.
I'm absolutely just as concerned. That it felt like that was the perfect version of what we're talking about is that they score a touchdown, which is that's awesome. That makes a huge difference in the game, and was the part of that was the final score was that touchdown, and then 1 for 6 in the red zone. But yeah, it reminded me a little bit of the 2022 defense, your Gannon, and the discussion we kept having about Gannon taking so much umbrage at the idea that you couldn't coach turnovers.
Yeah, maybe the result. The process is so different from the Gannon defense
absolutely
that I can't really get there.
And I think part of the reason to not be so worried is because of trust in Vic Fangio. And there's no doubt that he is putting together, save for the Giants game, interesting game plans, and you can trust that he's searching for different answers and trying to figure out what it is that his talent does well, and changing the defense to that. But Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell were back for that game. Didn't make that much of a difference.
Right.
As I talked about this with Anthony this morning, I think the bull case for the defense is, after the bye week, we just hope we get the Jalen Carter of last year. Because that to me, that is like the theory of roster building for the defense this offseason, being willing to go in with an obvious weakness at corner, no matter how well you thought Keeley or Adoree Jackson was going to perform, a big question mark at safety with a rookie starting, and obvious lack of depth on the edge. What was going to paper over that was Jalen Carter playing at a defensive player of the year level. And so far he has been mostly just a guy. Yeah, and he hasn't gotten quite as much attention either. When you look at the snaps in the last game where they were lined up symmetrically, they were both Ojimo and Jalen Carter were 3 techs on a given play, for example. And they had plays like that where the center actually slid to Ojimo. Now, it's not like he's tearing it up either, but
I don't think that would have happened last year. Like they're leaving Jalen Carter on an island against the left guard, who in Donovan Jackson, who's like, he's not like one of the best left guards in the league or anything. Like it's not one of those like the Falcons did where they're like, we have Lindstrom, he can take Jalen Carter one-on-one, we'll deal with the other side. It was just a case of like they just thought they could block it better that way, which means they're not treating Jalen Carter the way we thought teams would be this year, where he's like an Aaron Donald and they're going to have to game plan around him. Well, this is a problem because there certainly isn't an edge defender on this team that anybody is game planning around or anything close to it. And so that means that you don't really have to, you're not threatening the other team in terms of your pass rush and what's going on around the line. And then that brings us to where this team is getting attacked the most, which is outside the numbers. I mean, you look at the Giants game, and the reason the Giants are worth talking about now is, first of all, this next game's against the Giants as well. But since Jackson Dart has been starting for the Giants, the way that they've been attacking is they've been going through the tight ends. I mean, Darius Slayton was injured during a big part of it. 33% of his throws were to the tight ends last week, which is in line with what he's been in all of his starts, except against the Eagles, when he threw to the wide receivers on 77% of his throws, which is like a 96th percentile for any game this year, attacking Keely Ringo, attacking Drew Mukuba when he's coming down to defend the slot receiver. And Carson Wentz threw 28 passes outside the numbers against the Eagles last week. That is wildly high, one of the highest in any game this year by any team. So teams are doing what we thought they would do, which is try to find the weakness in the Eagles' coverage, and that weakness is mostly going to be whoever the second cornerback is, and also wherever Drew Mukuba is. I mean, we have to talk about Drew Mukuba because he has been having coverage busts in very similar ways to each other week in and week out. And he's saving himself with kind of random interceptions in the fans' eyes. Okay. But like we have to talk about Drew Mukuba a little bit because this is unusual to be this far.
We need to talk about Kevin movie poster, but it's Drew Mukuba.
But it's Drew Mukuba. Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about Drew Mukuba right now.
Let's talk about him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one thing to get physically beaten, right? Drew Mukuba is small. And all those.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he continues to be confused and seem to not know his assignment, in particular when he rotates down to cover a man in a man coverage call. Fangio loves to start with the two safeties both playing high to disguise the coverage, as we know. And a lot of times what happens is Mukuba, as the field safety, is on the three receiver side, for example, and he will rotate down to cover the slot. And oftentimes that slot is a wide receiver. Sometimes it's a tight end. And we've seen examples now many times this season where he kind of walks down to cover the guy, but then he loses the guy at some point. The best example is probably the Wan'Dale Robinson touchdown against the Giants 2 weeks ago, where he just completely lost him in coverage. That was on a 4-by-1 where he had to get him in man. There was nobody else to cover him, and he just lost him. Then he also missed the tackle. In this game, there were very similar things that happened. I mean, the 3rd and 2 end zone drop by Hawkinson that was reviewed and reversed as an incompletion, that's one where it was kind of like a cover 0 double Jefferson call, which meant that Reed Blankenship is doubling Justin Jefferson on the other side. So there's no safety help of any sort. Drew Mukuba's coming down, and he has to guard Hawkinson, and he starts to cover him, but then he just kind of loses him again, trying to peek at the quarterback instead of staying on his guy. And this has been the thing. Like, we know he's a ball hawk. We know that he has ball skills. But what he seems to be doing is, in the middle of those man coverage snaps, he's acting as if he's like a safety playing on top of his own, and he's just watching the quarterback. And he's losing Hawkinson. A friend of the show, Wannabe GM, will love this segment because he's been on this for weeks on Blue Sky. And it's absolutely true. There was a very similar rep against Theo Johnson against the Giants in week 6. Very similar, where he comes down. He's supposed to have Theo Johnson in man coverage. And then he just starts watching Jackson Dart instead. And Theo Johnson escapes out wide on a corner route and is wide open for a big completion. And there are just so many other examples of similar things. Cooper DeJean is constantly trying to communicate with Mukuba. He's like turning and giving him a signal. Like, okay, we have a two-man call here where if Jefferson gets behind me, you have to get him. Like, and that's clearly what he's communicating. He gives him some sort of signal. Mukuba gives him the signal back, indicating that he understood it. Okay. And I'm not going to pretend to know exactly what the signal means, but in that coverage, it almost definitely means, given what Cooper DeJean did on the play, after a certain distance, Jefferson is yours. And on that play, This was a two-man call where the Eagles actually had all three corners over to one side, which Fangio had never done before. He did it for the first time.
By this.
He did it twice in this game. It was the first time he did it. And on the first one, it was executed beautifully in the red zone. I'm now talking about the second one where Jefferson ends up running a deeper route. DeGene lets him go. And then he turns around in a panic and realizes Mukuba's nowhere to be seen. Like he had just given him the signal back, and then instead he drifts to the middle of the field, peeking at what could be going on the other side.
You just got.
I mean, and Jefferson's wide open.
It must be a terrible feeling. I thought we just went over this.
Carson ended up scrambling for the first down on that, but like if he had thrown that to Jefferson, it would have been like, what the hell happened? He's like wide open. So, just I don't know. There are a couple of others I have here. I feel like I'm being a little bit, but piling on because he's just a rookie. Well, but like again, there are just like so many situations like this where there's a motion and Josh Oliver catches one like wide open in the flat where Zach Bond just lets him go, which makes me think like that was probably Mukuba's guy. You know, like and maybe I'm wrong on some of them. Maybe it's not his fault, but it just seems to be kind of similar to where it seemed to always be CJ GJ who was the bust. Yeah. Like last year, it seems to always be Mukuba, except it's a little bit like lower level stuff than it was with CJ GJ. You know, like CJ GJ could kind of have a like explanation for why he was wrong on something.
Oh, you mean lower level, meaning it?
I think it's lower level of difficulty stuff that Mukuba's messing up on. It's like, look, it's man coverage. That's your man. Yeah. Is a little bit easier than CJ GJ like forgetting to catch the guy from the other side of the field or something.
It's hard because you accept when you have a rookie on the field on defense, they're going to miss some assignments. Safety is like the spot where you really don't want that to happen. Right,
like, exactly.
If you're the last guy. You're the last guy.
Yeah, and then I didn't even mention the corner. We've seen all the games, right? So the Tampa Bay like deep touchdown was obviously on Mukuba as well. That's a mistake that he makes in zone coverage, where he's the deep guy and he's trying to cheat and like steal something from the sail route. Yeah. And if he makes it, that's the throw, and he makes that play, he's like a hero, right? And that's the thing with him. It's like it's kind of like CJ GJ in that way too. It's like how many interceptions is he going to get to make up for his mistakes?
Because I think part of the team moving on from CJ GJ was that Vic was okay with it, right? Like I think even over the course of the season, you could hear Vic being a little bit frustrated at those gambles that CJ was taking. And so it's odd that they went and drafted the guy who seems very similar and not someone who would be more reliable.
And Fangio was very excited.
Yeah,
about
and then given that there were other options who they could have had later, who have as rookies been steadier safeties.
I haven't been keeping track of that, but I remember there were like 6 or 7 names at safety that seemed to all be on the same level.
And Jonas Sanker have both been very good. Who were both possibilities. Billy Bowman, who ended up going later, he's mostly been a nickel, but he's been good. And this was the one pick the Eagles made where they really like went away from draft consensus. This was them.
Those guys were all higher on him in consensus, right? Yeah.
So we said it at the time. This was going to be kind of what this hinged on. It's been 7 games. He's got a long career.
No. I feel bad. I feel bad that we did this so early in the show and we're doing it for so long.
Are there examples you feel like where he's making the same mistake twice?
Yes. I mean, I just listed like 3 or 4 of essentially the same mistake. And typically it's you're rotating down, you have the number 3 receiver in man. Like it's a man coverage rep. And you do not need to have eyes on the quarterback. Obviously, you always need to have some sense of what the quarterback's doing. But I feel like he's playing those snaps the same way that he's playing the zone snaps. And you just can't do that. Now, Fangio is calling a lot more man this year than he did last year. I mean, the Eagles are ninth.
We're going to get to this in a second, but we got to take a quick break, and then on the other side, we will get to what has been different about the way that Vic is calling defense this year. Hey, Eagles fans! You know who's playing championship-level defense and championship-level car deals every single day? Elkins Chevrolet, located on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey. It's run by 3 brothers, Jason, Adam, and Josh. Call them Jadge. And these guys are in the store every day, working to make sure they have a huge lineup of Chevys at the best price and providing honking good service. No fumbles, no drama, just real brothers running a local business and backing every deal like it's the championship game. So if you're in the market for a new Chevy, make your next move to Elkins Chevrolet. Real brothers, real deals. and a whole lot of honking good service. Shop now at elkinschevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. I'll tell you about our friends at Crooked Tea. Everybody's got their favorite hard tea. I know you all do. But have you ever turned the can around to read what's inside that tea? The ingredients. You can't because they don't tell you. And while they hide what's inside, Crooked Tea brags about it. Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar. No fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. Next time you're at the store, flip the can. If you can't find the ingredients, put it back. Then grab a Crooked Tea, zero sugar, real tea, and fully transparent. You know it, Philly. Real recognizes real, so why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea, the only thing better is a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you. All right, back on the PHLY Eagles podcast, and with that, we turn to the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. And the big takeaway is Vic is calling the defense differently, Professor. And we can flash up the man coverage graphic, Julia.
Yeah, this has been pretty consistent from the beginning of the season that, we were wondering how Vic would handle the fact that he doesn't have two, high-end corners this year, right? With the absence of Slay. And we were wondering if he was going to play more cover six, zones that kind of let that second corner be hidden in the coverage. And he has done some of that, and he's still among the highest cover six in the league, 18% for the Eagles playing cover six, which is fourth highest. But the surprising thing for me is Fangio's called man coverage on 29% of opponent dropbacks, which is ninth highest in the NFL. And that's surprising. I mean, to see him above average. Average in the NFL is 24%. And that's up from 24% last year. Late downs, he's playing man on 40% of snaps, which is 12th in the league. That was 29th last year at 29%. And on when he blitzes, which he's blitzing more this year as well, the 2/3 of the blitzes have been man behind it, which is fourth highest in the league. The average, the most blitzes in the NFL are zone blitzes. So these are all changes from what he did just last year.
And it's funny because you would think if you have lower level talent on defense, you would be playing more zone.
Right. Now, it depends on what kind of man. This last game, we saw him call, depending on how you chart it, anywhere between 4 or
like
5
blue-collar man? Are we talking
That's true. And what kind of man is it?
What kind of man are we talking?
Yeah, what kind of man is it? Well, in this last game, it was a lot of two-man, which was a little surprising. Very rare coverage.
Conjoined twins kind of deal?
Sort of like that, yeah. Okay. You got the conjoined... Yeah, I don't know where to go with this, but two-man is a pretty rare coverage in the NFL. I know it's Fran's favorite coverage, but it's played on like 1% of snaps
it's
in the league.
Two-buster.
It's not two-buster now. Two-buster would be two-man on one side.
That would be conjoined twins.
It's regular two
Buster
on the
only
other.
And his brother.
That's right. Yeah, you got it. With two-man, basically the corners can play trail technique and kind of funnel the receiver to the safeties. There are two safeties playing, waiting for those receivers, and that does kind of hide the talent to corner a little bit. But it's not like this is like a bread and butter thing. This was just like a thing against the Vikings that they did on a couple of snaps. But the man coverage is interesting. It's definitely something that, like with Drew Mukuba, for example, should make the defense simpler. Right, and yet he's making mistakes on these snaps. So like I wonder if it is to somehow hide, like if he doesn't think like the match, because like you can make mistakes more easily when you're matching people in a zone, right? So if it's cover 4 match and he's not sure if Keely Ringo is going to figure out whether he's supposed to run with a guy or pass him off to Cooper DeJean, then you can have bigger busts. Right. Yeah, with man you sometimes. Pass people off to somebody else, but for the most part, you don't, right? For the most part, you got a guy.
You might lose your matchup, but you're going to know who you're supposed to cover.
Yes, and sometimes, if there's a motion late or something, you might switch, and they probably should have done that on one of the on the fourth down catch by Addison to the flat where Cooper DeJean gets caught in traffic, and Keely Ringo's guy, it was Adam Thielen actually. They brought Thielen in. Thielen didn't play that much in the game. They brought him in essentially just to run a pick for Addison on that fourth down. And that was one where like Keely Ringo looks like he's doing his job. Like, as he has Thielen, and Thielen essentially just like almost like blocks Keely Ringo on the play instead of running a real route. And that creates like a mass of two humans that Cooper DeJean has to run around. And you wonder there, it's like if it's two more experienced players, do they banjo that? Like, are they able to make it so that like, you know, Keely Ringo goes to the flat and Cooper DeJean hangs out with Thielen, you know? And
can 2 humans be a mass, or do you think it needs to be at least 3?
I don't think there's a limit to a mass.
Okay.
I think a mass can be of any size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would be on your Mount Rushmore of busters?
Ooh, man. Hold on. I'm already working on the other Mount Rushmore.
I feel like Buster underused name.
Buster Douglas?
Buster Douglas.
Yeah.
I think Buster only.
Buster
Keaton.
I was allowed to stay up and watch the Buster Douglas Tyson fight live.
Disappointing
with
to you
my
that it
dad
ended so quickly.
I don't know why. We had like a big that one wasn't that quick. The Buster Douglas Tyson?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're thinking of Spinks?
Maybe.
It was like 91 seconds or something. Yeah. I don't know why. We were like into
only had
boxing
3.
when I was a kid. Yeah.
I don't want to say the other one.
You don't want to say the other one? Okay.
The 4th one that comes to mind for me.
Is it a catcher?
No, that's a good one though.
Okay.
I was thinking of more of a grade school joke.
Oh, okay.
Hyman.
Do you like a Dave and Buster's?
I've only been once, but I don't mind it.
We're invited to a birthday party at Dave and Buster's
in
a few weeks, and I was like, our adults invited because I want to school some people at the shuffleboard. I'm a big shuffleboard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like
That's your
like
go-to?
the little table shuffleboard.
That'll do it for the big takeaway. Presented by Xfinity. They may want to cut out the last part. Buster rhymes, yeah, but that's a busta, not a buster.
Yeah, you got to be Buster.
Posey, I guess. I think he probably gets the 4th spot.
Buster.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Do you think that this will continue, the man defense? Is it coming back to bite them in any way?
So when you said the thing about Gannon earlier, the thing that made me think like the thing that drove me crazy about Gannon was that he never adjusted, that he kept doing the same things and kept getting beat the same way over and over again.
Sure.
And in this game, we saw so many unconventional calls from Fangio. So the man coverage being different than last year, the fact that he played 2-man and let all 3 corners travel with the receivers to one side of the field, that might not seem like a big deal, but that is a Fangio like no-go. Like he never does that. And seeing that was interesting because it makes you think like he's willing to change what he normally does. He obviously doesn't want to, right? He wants to play the way he did in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Like play cover for the whole game, don't blitz at all, and just dominate that way. But he clearly knows that he doesn't have the talent to do that anymore. On the mic'd up, if any of you saw the mic'd up with Zach Bond that came out yesterday, after the pick 6 by Jalix Hunt, Zach Bond is talking to somebody on the sideline, and he says, "What a call!" And then he goes like, "Reach down way to the bottom of the bag to get that call." And you look back at it, and it's an exchange pressure, which they do a lot, where they drop the 2 edge rushers, and then they blitz Zach Bond in the middle, and Jalen Carter, as a zero technique, gets to go one-on-one against the center. The interesting thing about that call, and Jimmy Kempski asked Fangio about this week, and Fangio confirmed it, is that it's a man coverage call. Normally, you don't have exchange pressures with man behind it because who are those dropping guys supposed to cover, right? Like sometimes one of them's responsible for the back. That's what happened on this one, and they kept the back in, so he didn't actually have to cover him. But the point is that Drew Mukuba is coming down to cover Justin Jefferson in man on that, and he funnels him inside, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, I don't know. It looked like Jefferson's running a bit of a choice route there. And he funnels him inside, and Jalix Hunt ends up undercutting it. Carson Wentz never accounts for Hunt, and he throws that interception. Really cool call there to combine a pressure, which he often does, dropping the edges and blitzing a linebacker, with a man call behind it, which is something that you wouldn't expect if you're Carson Wentz in that situation, to have that dropping guy be there. Because if Carson can kind of tell that it's man, and then he also knows that it's blitz because Zach Bond's coming up the middle, he's not going to expect that edge to drop. And so I thought it was a really cool wrinkle to something that he doesn't normally do. He blitzed Reed Blankenship from depth once, which honestly, I don't know if that's a good idea. Like it didn't really work.
Just to show it.
In fact, like it voided a zone, and Keely Ringo got beat into that void by a crosser. So it didn't work at all, but it was very different. It's something that he had never done before, where he's blitzing, he starts with 2 high safeties and he ends up blitzing one of them, and the other one ends up as a single high. I'm almost sure he hadn't done that a single time in the 2 years. So like he's bringing out a bunch of things that he hadn't done before. It's kind of fun to see the unconventional stuff. It means that he's thinking about how to out-scheme the opponent because he knows he can't out-talent them. Yeah, well, he can't out-talent them, and that's what coaching's for, right?
His one of the best through lines of a mic'd up is Zach Bond being impressed. Just like Zach Bond thinking something is cool.
Yeah, Zach Bond mic'd up is awesome. Like I don't know. Did you see it by any chance?
I did.
The Jahad Campbell thing is awesome too, where Jahad Campbell is like, "It's pass, and in the middle of the thing,
he's like, "It's third and long." What are you?
Yeah. Are we allowed to say the word?
Good call.
Or no?
I actually don't remember what he said.
He said dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb A. Okay, but it's just funny because
big dumb A.
during the play, Jahad Campbell is like, "It's pass, pass," and Zach Bond's like, "It's third down, you dumb." He's like, "I know it's pass." It was great.
All right, time for another break. Hear from some sponsors. Continue the discussion on the other side. Maybe we'll flip to the offense and get more into the weeds of this specific familiar matchup. Monarch, not just a butterfly. No. The best place to make sure that your money is in good hands. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting. Link all your accounts and minutes and get clear data visuals, smart categorization of your spending, and real control over your money. We promise you'll never need to touch a spreadsheet again. Don't leave money on the table when you're making good money. It's easy to get complacent. And if you're not on top of your money, you could be missing chances to save more, invest smarter, or hit your financial goals faster. Monarch helps you stay informed so nothing slips through the cracks. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code PHLY at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com/PHLY. I don't know if you saw the footage from the draft, Professor, but there's a scene where the Eagles are on the clock in the second round, and there's somebody in the back going, "Hey, draft Mukuba, draft Mukuba, do it, draft Mukuba, reach. That is not the Shady Ray that we're talking about. No, in fact, we're talking about our friends at Shady Rays, the best sunglasses company going. And here's the wild part. If you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now you can actually wear your sunglasses without fear at concerts, in a boat, wherever you want to be. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. And we have teamed with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades, rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. All right. We are back on the PHLY Eagles podcast. Anything else on the defense? Want to talk?
Well, we should talk a little bit about Nakobe Dean and whether you think how much he's going to play is going to continue. I know you guys talked about it a little bit, but he played all 23 snaps on base with Jahad Campbell on the field as an edge on all of them. And by the way, Jahad Campbell rushed the passer on exactly one of those, even though a bunch of them were passed. So he was the typical dropper on the play. So it essentially turned into like a kind of old school 4-3 base once the drop happened. And then there were 2 drives.
Breaking news from the Novacare complex, actually. EJ just checking in. He says he will be here soon, but he has to pee. So we'll follow up on that when he gets here.
You know, I've been nervous about A.J. Brown the whole week, which we have to talk about. And so you scared me. All right. There were 2 drives when it was Bond and Nakobe as the linebackers, and Jahad was just on the bench. We were wondering if there'd be any of that, and there did end up being 8 snaps of that. Do you think that's going to be the way it continues? There should be a lot of base this week. There were 23 snaps of base against the Giants in the Week 6 game. Darius Slayton's coming back, but the Giants have been playing a wild amount of heavy personnel. They were only 37%, 11 last week against Denver. So they're playing heavy a lot. So you'd think you'd have the opportunity to play Nakobe that way. But what about games where the other team's in 11 the whole game? Is he going to play? I thought he looked good, by the way.
I thought so, too. This is one where I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah. Definitely spoiled at that position right now.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me to take Jahad Campbell off the field, especially while you're living with the lumps at at safety. But, I mean, he likes Nakobe Dean. Nakobe looks pretty good.
Nakobe looks good. I mean, he had a nice TFL. He had a couple of other run-throughs where he clearly affected the run. Like, against the run, he looked very good.
Yeah.
And most of the snaps he was out there for were a run, but he looks perfectly comfortable in coverage, too. I mean, he had a really nice year last year doing everything. And, yeah, I mean, Jahad Campbell is obviously athletically superior to him. And in the long run, as a first-round pick, you'd expect him to be the one that the team has future plans
here's
for.
My question for you.
But yeah,
I think we all agree Jahad Campbell has looked good.
Yeah,
seems like a good pick. But if you knew that Nakobe Dean was going to be back halfway through the season looking fine, would you have rather drafted an offensive lineman
for this season? Maybe, but for the long run, I don't know. He's such good value.
Saquon.
I know, but if you're thinking long run and you think about Nakobe's injury risk, what are the odds that Nakobe Dean is going to be both healthy and 100% in terms of his... Like he's already limited athletically. If you add the injuries to that, at some point he's going to start to be a guy you want to keep around to be a coach or something.
Week 7.
Yeah, I mean, people are talking about like trading Nakobe. Like I would not trade Nakobe. I think like the combination of his leadership, like that kind of stuff, and also... I mean, he just like when he's on the field, he's good. He's a good player. He's like a plus for the defense. So yeah, it's a weird one. Again, this week shouldn't be an issue. There should be a lot of base. They can both be out there.
Okay.
Jahad Campbell is a little small at edge, and teams have been running outside and kind of blocking him pretty easily on those outside runs. And so that's another thing. Like, do you think Jahad Campbell will eventually want to put on some weight so he can play more edge going forward? Do you think he's going to end up as an edge?
No.
These are all questions. Yeah. I don't really think so either. So
do you think when EJ says be there soon, but I gotta pee, that means he's gonna leave because it's a short drive?
That's a weird one. I mean, is he
saying I have to pee first and then I'm gonna get there and then I'm gonna get in the car and leave there, or does he mean I'm actually gonna pull up soon, but when I get there I have to?
Well,
pee?
We'll see that, right?
I think it's the latter.
To pee when he gets here.
My guess is it's the latter.
You think he's going to pee when he gets here?
He's texting from the car saying he will be there soon, but when he gets here, he has to pee.
Interesting. I would agree that's more likely.
Yeah.
And if he does pee, it'll likely be right here, right? So
right.
We'll see him going. I mean, there's a bathroom, like you can see. I don't know what you guys are thinking. There's a door to the bathroom that we can see from here. All right.
When he gets here, he's going to have a tough decision.
Yeah, no, that's right. Especially if he's listening.
To pee or not
to pee. That's right. That's the decision.
Yes.
Giants' offenses looked good. They were 88th percentile against the Eagles, 81st percentile against Denver in EPA per drive, and their success rate wasn't as good against Denver, but they made some big plays. Jackson Dart, as annoying as he is, and has looked pretty good when you look at the numbers. There are these
You like him more than Bo Nix?
I agree with Fangio. They're very similar, right? They're very similar, like quarterbacks.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're both look like they would be comfortable as a background character in Jersey Shore.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what Fangio meant.
Yeah,
and that's what I agree with. Yeah. Yeah, no, they're similar. There's a chance he ends up better than Bo Nix, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. He didn't scramble at all against Denver, by the way, which is very unusual. He's one of the highest scrambling quarterbacks in the league. Otherwise, the Broncos seem to be intentionally trying to keep him in the pocket. Definitely something to watch in terms of Fangio's game plan in this game, because Dart did hurt the Eagles a lot with his scrambling in that first game, the 20-yard touchdown. There were a couple of other ones. And Carson Wentz, with those 2 third-down scrambles for first downs in this last game. So that's been an issue throughout the season. I don't really remember this being an issue last year, like letting the opposing team scramble much. Jaden Daniels had some, but he was doing that against everybody. So this has been an issue with Dart. And then they were saying, Russell Wilson was hitting all those deep balls when he was playing, and Jackson Dart wasn't. He started 0 for 8 on his deep balls, but he's 5 for his last 11. Including 2 of 3 against the Eagles, where he burned Keely Ringo twice. So
got it.
Oh, is Keely Ringo starting? Do you think? You've been in the building.
I think so. Just the way that Vic was talking about practice mattering for Ja'Cory and Bennett. My supposition, this is just guesswork, is Keely starts, but there's a potential quick hook for him if it starts ugly.
Based on nothing other than just kind of vibes, I think we're going to see Jacorian Bennett, whether it's starting or coming in a maybe planned way. Yep. Like, not necessarily, because if Keely's like doing great, maybe they would leave him in, but like, I think there might be a little bit of a plan to get Jacorian Bennett in there. Because Fangio specifically said this week that he just hasn't seen him enough to know what he is.
Yeah.
And I don't think he just means practice. Like, I think he needs to see him in games, and you're not going to see him in games unless you put him in games. And for him to end up being better than Keely Ringo has been would not be, it's not that high a threshold, honestly. Yeah. Like, Keely Ringo has just not been good. He has so much trouble stopping and triggering on any kind of stop route, any kind of hitch. And that's been the thing on him the whole time, right? That that he's stiff and he can't turn and all those things. And those things are coming up over and over again. And so I'm worried about that continuing.
All right. In just a minute, we're going to go to break. I can tell you that EJ Smith is here behind the glass, and the bad news is it looks like he is covered in pee. Let's go to break. Whether your favorite team wins or not, they win by a lot or metaphorically pee all over themselves, there's another way to win on the BetParx online casino app. Check out brand new casino games like Huff and More Puff and Fireblaze Sky Queen, a BetParx exclusive. Play blackjack, roulette, craps, poker, baccarat, and hot online slots like Cash Eruption, 88 Fortunes, and Cleopatra online slots. New users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Go to betparx.com and download the app right now and enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. Must be 21 or older. And in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParx, you love to play, you play to win, you bet. BetParx. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Then I'll tell you about our friends at Branded Bills. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, you're just embarrassed about the top of your head, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd? Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order, and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. They have a partnership with Penn State as well as part of their campus collection for all you Nittany Lion fans out there. Once you take instead of wearing a bag over your head, you could wear a Branded Bills hat. Head to brandedbills.com and use code BBPHLY for 15% off your first order. All right, back on the PHLY Eagles podcast. EJ, how was the pee?
The pee was great. I'm not covered in pee. I love when I walk into the studio, I make eye contact with Julia, and she can't even look at me. She just is like trying to stifle a laugh because she's seeing everybody in the chat. PJ Smith is good. I gotta give it up to the chatter. No, I didn't see yours. What was yours? PJ.
That's pretty good, Julia.
That's good. That's very good.
That is good.
And then somebody said, "I'm at the elevator," knife emoji.
You're at the what?
I'm at the elevator with a knife emoji. Like I'm threatening you guys.
All right.
The elevator is working again, which is great.
Yes. Yeah. Let's check in on the temperature of things in the locker room, EJ, with the Ace Hardware Home Services temperature check. Bow, 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 bow. Visit acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. Okay. Were things steamy in the locker room? Or were they cool? What can you tell us?
They were not steamy, but I do think it's important to say right at the top, we did not hear from AJ Brown today. He did not practice. It's interesting. Like Nick Sirianni didn't rule out him playing, even though he has not practiced all week, but it would be unprecedented based off of Nick's tenure. We have not seen a player play without practicing at all during the week. So I think like the only thing I want to say, especially like we talked about AJ a lot yesterday in yesterday's show, but I just want to say that like I do think like the temperature in the locker room is not reflective of like the discussion about AJ externally. I think that those are kind of two separate things at this point.
What do you mean by that?
I just don't think that it sends as much as many ripples in the Eagles locker room as it does at, like that Instagram caption.
You mean his Instagram post and not practicing this week, or?
I think mostly the Instagram post, but
Okay.
I mean him not practicing. I mean that's an injury. To me, like I think that there's like a perception that it like drives a wedge in the locker room. I mean maybe, but I do think that like I think everyone's kind of used to AJ being AJ. For better or worse there. So I don't think there's not tension in the locker room is what I would say.
I don't know if I agree with that. You don't think there's any tension in the locker room?
Maybe with selective individuals. I don't think it's
I agree with you that
I don't think
like
it's washed
his
over
posts
the locker room.
are not driving a wedge in the locker room, but I think
It's
they're
indicative.
reflective of a wedge that already exists.
I would agree with that. Yes. I would say that AJ, maybe like the Instagram caption is like the smoke, but like it is not the fire, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, if you already see the fire, you're not going to be impacted by the smoke, right? So if the players already know that there's discontent, it's not new information.
It is what it is.
When they see the post might be new information to fans, but it's not new information to the players who already know.
Yeah, it's like a
how
window
AJ feels.
into it for fans. But yeah, no, I think that's very well put.
Now, there's definitely a segment of the fan base that is under the impression that AJ would be practicing this week if he weren't upset about things. Do you give that how many turkeys would you put on that being the case?
I mean, and this is pure speculation, like 20, maybe 25. Like I can't know
that he's healthy and not playing and not
I
practicing.
don't think you
that doesn't
not
playing,
necessarily
that's not
fully
that's
healthy,
not-
but
that's
in
not
a
the
world
25
in a
that
world
I
where
think.
he's happy with everything and everything's great.
Yeah.
That he would at least practice on Friday so he can play. You know what I mean? Like maybe still sit out Wednesday, maybe even Thursday, but at least practice once so he can play.
He is too prideful for that.
Yeah, that's just a big I don't want to say accusation because that's too strong, but like that is it. There's a lot. That's a big implication. So I'd say there's a non-zero chance, but I wouldn't go so far as saying I think it's what's happening here.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's also confusing because, I mean, he was only targeted twice before the fourth quarter, but he did have that massive fourth quarter. I think at this point, would you agree, and it seems like you guys agree with this based on your discussion with Fran, that at this point it's not about the exact specifics of what happened on the field in the last game, right? It's something else?
I think it's the way that he wants the offense to look. And I think he's been pretty open and clear about he wants to be the driving force when things aren't going well. I would have thought the way that the Vikings game went, he would have been happy with that. But I mean the passing game looked very good against one of the best passing defenses in the league, and he had 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards. So like, what does he want it to look like? That's a good question. I wish I could have talked to him about it.
That's what makes me wonder. And he also didn't talk after the game, right? So that's a full week of him.
If
not
he didn't
talking.
decline to talk, I think is important to say. He just did not talk after the game.
And what's the difference?
Well, it's like there wasn't a reporter, to my knowledge, that went to him and said, "Can I grab you for a second?" It was he kind of left. He was in and out of the locker room, and he left while DeVonta was talking. So just the nature of like him leaving. Maybe somebody did approach him, and I don't know, but it's not to my knowledge. So
that'll do it for the Ace Hardware temperature check.
He just seems so sad.
He does.
Yeah.
He seems checked out. I think that's fair to say.
Before we get to the offensive side of the ball, Professor, I wanted to check in on you. How do you feel about BG being back?
So Emily, my wife, is very upset about it. Like, she thinks that for his health and his family and everything else, that he shouldn't risk further injury and all those things. I think I'm a little bit more on the, like, it's only a few months, right? A few months of your life. Like, unless something like major happens injury-wise, knock on wood, like, it might not have that big an impact going forward. So if it's what he wanted to do, then he should do it. Like, I agree that, like, the storybook ending thing is like, if that's not how he feels about it, like, and I thought he put it well this week, right? He said, by the way, great show with him earlier this week. Yeah, I know everyone's already told you that, but
well, not you.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I was waiting to see you in person. Yeah, no, it was awesome. I think they've all been good. All the BGM blocks have been good, but he said that the storybook will still be there, you know?
Right.
Like, it's not like...
Right. That
it's
chapter
not
of the
like
story will
when
exist.
they show clips
Right.
of that Super Bowl and him holding 2 Lombardis.
Yeah.
Like, if this season doesn't end in a 3rd Lombardi, like, it's not like they're going to be like, oh, yeah, but like...
Right.
Yeah, but he had a down game, like, you know, week 13 the next year.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's not going to matter. And he talked about like Tom Brady coming back, and it's not like Tom Brady coming back for that last year is going to keep him out of the Hall of Fame. Like, you know, like there's a part of that where it's like the upside is higher than the downside from coming back, right? Because if there is a 3rd Super Bowl and he's on that team, like think about how historic that is, right?
Right.
And this team is still certainly a contender. So
We have the Brandon Graham Diehards sale, which you can take part of. 55% off if you want to become a Diehard member. Great column this morning from Les Bowen. EJ Smith has you covered. Kyle Neubeck, Charlie O'Connor, Fran Duffy's draft guide, worth it on the just alone.
And the draft newsletter is good too.
I mean,
Although-
you're missing out if you're not doing
So
that.
I didn't hear, and I don't mean it. I'll give you one non-football thing, and then I'll get back to football here. I didn't hear the top of the show. Did you implicate me in the female artist?
Well, no, we're gonna
thing?
get to that.
Okay, all
Save
right.
that for overtime.
Okay, because I got some texts about this.
Okay.
Can I give you a football thing as
Let's
we
start-
transition to the offensive
let's
side
talk
of the
BG
ball?
first.
Okay, all
Because
right.
I was thinking about this, and the information from BG in that episode that he wanted to come back. The Eagles didn't want him to come back. And it's interesting from a standpoint of, one, like it's a little bit disappointing that a player with that standing in the organization isn't able to go out on his own terms. I think that's like
Yeah, that's fair.
a little bit nasty is the wrong word, but like, I don't know. That doesn't feel...
I was surprised to hear him
That doesn't
kind of
feel right.
admit that that's what happened.
Yeah.
I would say callous is probably the word.
I think
you're
so.
looking for. Yeah.
But if you are just being cold and calculated about it, you can understand it. But it's not like they did. I mean, now they're in the part where they had to come crawling back to him. They spent $4 million on Azeez Ojulari, who was inactive for 4 games, played 3 games, and now he's hurt. They brought Zadarius Smith out. He retired. They drafted one guy in the 7th round. He's on the practice squad. They signed Uche and Ogbo Okoronkwo, and Uche's played 7 games, has 1 sack, and Ogbo got hurt in his first game. Like, it's not like they couldn't have used him.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. And like, maybe they went into the offseason thinking that it would look different by the time that they got to training camp. But like, especially the player that he was last year, like to turn down the opportunity to bring him back and then like take a flyer on a guy like Azeez Ojulari. Yeah, it is in hindsight. I mean, with the benefit of hindsight,
I get it. But it's also not like, you know, they didn't have to bring him back and expect he was going to be what he was last year. They could have just brought him back as part of the rotation.
Yeah, I think it'll be very interesting to see how he looks this year, especially because if he comes back and he plays at a high level, it's like, and especially like Vic has has continuously talked about that he always felt like BG had a few more years left. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Turkey's on him dressing Sunday.
I talked to Anthony about it this morning. Breaking news. I got this. Barring a setback in practice today, he is playing on Sunday.
Yeah,
I told him that.
That's what I would have thought too.
I was like, your
That's good.
podcast co-host, he's got a little scoop on you today.
No, did he say that?
He was like, what? I was like, you got to watch Cousins' show. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
But it makes sense too because like
They kind of need
the
him.
truth is, well, they need him. Ojulari's out, but also like the flip side is you really don't know what you're going to get from Brandon Graham. So if he looks good in practice this week, you might as well play him.
Roster math-wise, the
just wanted to
Eagles
ask you.
are at 53 with Brandon Graham. If they want to bring Jacorian Bennett up to the 53 from IR, which certainly seems like they're going to do that, they will have to cut somebody. So I don't know who that somebody would be.
Who's your guess?
Could put Ojulari on IR.
Yeah.
I don't know how serious that Ojulari injury is, but Ojulari on IR seems to be the most likely to me.
They do Jurgens
AJ
IR, I don't know
Dillon
how
seems to
that's-
not have a role anymore.
I think
Yeah.
AJ Dillon's the 53rd or
yeah.
52nd guy right now because BG's got the roster exemption.
Right. And because I mean, Bigsby and Will Shipley were the 2nd and 3rd running backs last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick talked about how Tank Bigsby practices so hard. And then he had to go like, well, everybody else practices hard too, but man, I mean, the way Tank practices.
The one other complication is that
said offense.
Why did your mind go there?
that was really funny.
Because he's
really good.
he's bragging about a thing that nobody can
We-
prove.
Since we're doing roster math, we should mention that if AJ Brown's not playing, Darius Cooper is going to have to come up as well, right? Because there isn't like right now, without A.J. Brown, it's DeVonta Smith, Jahan Dotson, John Mechie,
right,
and that's it. Xavier Gibson is
but roster math wise,
guy.
if you don't want to cut somebody, you could just elevate a wide receiver from the practice squad.
Terrace Marshall, Quez Watkins, Britton Covey. Which one of those guys do you want playing on offense?
I don't want any of them, but I would imagine it would be Terrace Marshall.
Darius Cooper is the answer.
Yeah, I think if Darius Cooper is coming up and they activated his practice window on a Thursday, which is weird, right? Then they would have to cut one additional player.
You know how I feel. If Darius Cooper is active, he should get the ball.
I think
I'm just saying if you don't want to cut somebody, they could do that.
I think we're gonna get Mac McWilliams coming up with like a weird toe sprain or something.
Oh yeah,
on today's injury report, and then head to IR tomorrow.
Okay,
that would be the way that they do that. That's the way they've always done it. The dreaded Janarius Robinson syndrome. Janarius Robinson syndrome, of course, is when you get injured just before someone's about to get back on the roster, and you're the 53rd guy on the roster, and you just happen to get injured that Friday. That is Janarius Robinson syndrome, and it's shocking how much it happens at the NovaCare.
It's sad what it does to families.
Yeah, some of those injuries, they never recover from those.
All right, what did you have from a football standpoint?
All right, so on the offensive side of the ball, Cam Jurgens was not at practice today, and I wanted to, we've talked a lot about, because Bret Toth did, this is really the news, I guess, is that Bret Toth said that he's expecting to start. I think every indication was that that's where it was headed.
At center.
Yeah, at center. And we've talked a lot about, why is Bret Toth the option at center? I think, so what I would say I learned today is that this is tied to Landon Dickerson and his health and his comfortability playing center. And I don't think it's a coincidence that I think two things are true. I think that it's not a coincidence that the Eagles consistently bring in smaller, more athletic centers. I think it has to do with a weight transfer thing. If you think about just the mechanics of playing guard versus center, you're neutral with your feet at center, where at guard you can kind of rely on one leg, you have one leg back. And I think for Landon, it's probably more of a comfortability thing playing at guard. So I think that, and just the sheer nature of smaller players have an easier time shifting their weight if they are neutral. If they, it's a two-way go at center versus at guard, you kind of know where the rush is coming from. So I think that there's an athleticism requirement that the Eagles view at center, and that is what's at play at center. Why Bret Toth would be the choice at center. And the other thing that I learned, and this I'm just going to attribute this to Bret Toth, that he drops and gains weight really quickly, or drops and gains weight more quickly than the rest of the offensive linemen. He told me today that it's because he at West Point you had to do that sometimes, and he said when he graduated he had to go from 310 to 260 because it's a body weight requirement that the Army requires you to be at. And he didn't know if he was going to play football again, so he's I had to go from 310 to 260 in a very short amount of time. And yeah, he says that in a week he could go from I think he said it was 330 to 305. He could drop.
What?
It's crazy. I know.
I bet I could go from 260 to 310 pretty fast.
Yeah, no, he said he actually said it's easier to drop because it's he doesn't want to gain bad weight. But yeah, I think that's also an interesting thing about because if you're a backup at five,
I believe that to an extent. I think it feels a little bit myth making.
I'll take the guy at his word. I'll take the guy at his word.
I mean, that's cool. It's a fun superpower to have.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't just him that marveled at the fact that he can gain and lose weight.
So is he trying to take off weight this week?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things missing from the Eagles' run game this year has been that because Cam Jurgens has not been healthy, those pin pull runs where they do the same side guard and center pulling to the front side of the run. We basically haven't seen a single one of those this year. Yeah. Cam Jurgens has pulled around the guard and what Brandon Brooks called a crawl call, on the zone runs. We've seen that a couple of times, but they're not designing runs to take advantage of his athleticism because I don't think they think he can do it this year, right? And that's been an issue.
And speaking of taking things off, let's head to overtime.
It's good to have Julia back.
Yeah. OJ.
You see what
she
I got to
watch the show yesterday.
Watch how they switch sides. Oh, Julia, yeah, you got some shots yesterday during the show. He hit you with the Zach Berman. Who? I don't even know who that is. And then, I mean, listen, Lindsay was awesome. I view these in a vacuum with each other.
Lindsay had to do like a competent job for half a show, Julia, for Bo to go to.
Throw you under
the way
the bus.
Lindsay's doing today, I don't even know who you're talking about.
So mean. So I just wanted to give Julia a shout out because I think the conversation started around overtime, didn't it?
I don't remember.
I think it was about overtime. Because, you said that Lindsay did a good job of reminding you it was overtime and that Julia would never have done that. And I'm like,
No, I didn't. No. That's not true. That's not true.
Everything else was true.
No.
For the record.
I said I never need it, but Julia usually does it, and it's very rare that I miss it, and that was the one time I did miss it.
I'm going to use an expression that my parents used when I grew up. Shame the devil and tell the truth. You have needed a overtime reminder before.
Yeah, but I'm like 1 out of 50.
Oh, come on. Who cares about like the rate at which you need it? You've needed it before. And Julia was there for you. And you just cast her aside.
You want to get on me for poking fun at Julia, fine. Don't question my overtime ability.
See where a man's priorities are here. You think you know a guy, right, Julia?
All right. The chat has been discussing this since we brought it up in the beginning of the show. It's time to get down to brass tacks. Before we talk about the Eagles offense against the Giants defense, Mount Rushmore of your solo female artists.
Okay. And let me clarify a couple things right off the jump here. I am talking artists, not like just singers, not just songwriters. Like I'm talking the full body of work. Like it has to be more than just like who's the biggest. It's like, to me, it's like the greatest.
Okay.
Understood?
Understood.
Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Beyonce. And that fourth spot, I could go a lot of different ways. I think I'm going to go Madonna.
Someone in the chat had predicted you were going to go Madonna.
Yeah. But I'll be honest with you. Like, if it were my personal, like the music I listen to, I probably wouldn't have Madonna in there.
Sure.
But I don't know who I'd have, honestly.
I think that's a pretty...
Can I give you a really hot take now that I've given like a safe answer?
Yeah.
If it's like my personal, like 4 favorite female artists, that's a tongue twister.
I think that's what the question should be.
I might sneak somebody completely out of left field on you here. Alicia Keys.
It's not that out of
That's
left
just for
field.
you.
I
Yeah,
just
I don't have a problem with that.
love Alicia Keys.
Now, this is coming off the heels of EJ going to the Billie Eilish concert last night and proclaiming that she's the best artist of the past decade.
The best female artist in the last 10 years. I do think that Billie Eilish has a claim for that. I think, and I want to emphasize the word artist. I think people are surprised I like Billie Eilish. And let me just like clarify, like guys, I listen to a lot of different types of music. I know everybody says that, but I am an appreciator of the art behind some musicians. And I think that
And yet you had never heard of Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard.
I have not heard of that song. I'm sorry. I really think that's like a Two Americas thing. I told you, I was like, I don't really think my parents were listening to that type of music when I was growing up. So I didn't get the exposure for that one. But to me, like Billie's music is beyond just like pop music. It is a very, like there's an artistic expression there that I can really appreciate. Like the way she uses melodies, just her as a singer in general. Yeah, no, I think that you could, like, I'm not talking biggest because that's obviously Taylor Swift. But like if you're telling me it's like Ariana Grande, I think Lady Gaga probably still in there. And then obviously shout out SZA. I actually think that if you talk like the last 5 years, she's probably in there. But no, I put Billie's like discography, which has really happened in the last 10 years. I would put that at the top.
I'm not cool enough to have a take on the last decade. I'm more interested in the Mount Rushmore. What do you got, Professor?
Went to 2 shows this week.
Flex.
Monday night, went to see Jeff Tweedy and ran into McLean. McLean and I have very similar musical taste.
Okay.
And then Wednesday night, we went to see Big Thief. And Big Thief might be my favorite band right now. And the front woman of Big Thief, Adrienne Lenker, has solo albums. And I think that she's the best songwriter in the world right now under the age of 80.
Wow.
Bob Dylan's still alive, so.
You're a big Dylan guy, huh?
Yeah.
Could you
totally.
talk to McLean? Because he's also sick. You at least sound sick.
I talked to McLean. I shook his hand.
At the concert.
Shook his hand. Do you think he got me sick?
No, yeah. He sounded awful in the media. I saw
Yeah, no, I saw him in the locker room scrum video, and it looked like his eyes were like,
Yeah.
So he didn't look good.
Sick?
He did not seem sick on Monday night,
Well,
but
that's how they get you.
neither did I. So I don't know. Maybe I got him sick. We don't know.
Maybe.
And we only talked for like 2 minutes, but
The The best songwriter under 80.
Yes.
Wow.
Adrienne Lenker. Check out her solo stuff. All the Big Thief stuff, too, is amazing.
So
the show was ridiculously good. I was at the Met Philly. We had pit tickets. It was right by the stage. It was awesome. She's one of the 4.
Wow.
The number 1 is Billie Holiday for me.
Oh,
and
okay.
Billie Holiday is the only one on my list who I have not seen live for obvious reasons. Our lives did not overlap.
You didn't agree with her about her politics?
But she's the answer to the question that I said people ask me, which is if you could go back in time and see any live show.
Interesting.
And people say they'd want to see the Beatles like in the 60s.
Not EJ, that's for sure.
No, not EJ. EJ's like...
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix
Yeah.
is another common answer to that, I think. I would say I would want to see Billie Holiday just play in like a small club, like in Harlem or something. You know, like just
Okay.
like sit in the
Sure.
first row with like a old fashioned like
Sure.
a little table and watch
Back
Billie
then they just
Holiday.
called it a fashion.
That would be like the coolest thing ever. So Billie Holiday's
great
number 1.
line.
Adrienne Lenker. I have 3 others. I have to eliminate one, right? That's how this works.
No, you get 4. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to eliminate one. Okay. I'm going to do PJ Harvey as one of them.
The former power forward?
No, that would be PJ Brown.
Okay.
Yeah, this is PJ Harvey, the British singer, whose first album, Dry, came out in 1993 when I was
The
in
Broncos
high school.
running back?
Part of that is that's RJ Harvey. Part of that is I'm actually surprised that I know who you're talking
Julian.
about on each of these. But I think PJ Harvey. I don't really like her newer stuff, but like the beginning of her career was so good that I have to put her on this. And then I can't decide. I have 2 candidates for my 4th one. I'm just not allowed to say one of them, right? That's how this works.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Bjork. I saw Bjork live in Reykjavik in her hometown.
Really?
Everybody like around me was like friends with her parents and
Okay.
stuff. And that was a really cool experience. And I think she's awesome. So yeah, I would put Bjork 4th. It pains me to leave out the 5th one, but what can I do?
People in the chat mentioned Lauryn Hill, and I'm wondering if, at least an honorable mention. That's bad work by me. She belongs somewhere in the conversation.
For you.
For me.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that
a
Alicia
Koufax.
Keys.
It's a
That
rising-
Alicia
yeah.
Keys, like my personal preference. Lauryn Hill, I probably put her as an honorable mention there. All right, let's hear yours.
I don't have a good answer.
You need me to buy you some time? I can go through musical acts I would have loved to see live.
No, I don't have. It's not. It wouldn't be as personal for me. I would be more going for like the.
Yeah, let's see.
The
All right,
I would go
that's fine.
Aretha.
Yeah.
If it's like a Hall of Fame vote, my inaugural class kind of deal. Yeah, I would go
Yeah.
Aretha, Beyonce. I don't know.
You guys are going so mainstream with the
Well, yeah,
the
that's what I'm
modern
saying.
ones.
It's not.
I think it was part of the equation for me.
No.
I think Madonna is like that's. I think she probably belongs on that version of the list. And then the one Whitney is like.
If I could
like
have 10,
technical
Madonna would be on my
skill.
list too.
Yeah.
I don't know. We were talking. You can make a Ella Fitzgerald's a good one.
That is a good one.
You could go really white and go like Joni Mitchell.
That's pretty white. You could go Dolly Parton.
You could go. I wrote that down. You
pretty
could go
white.
Dolly Parton. I don't know. I feel like Whitney is kind of like.
I think she's on there.
She's like. She's like the Sosa McGuire summer of '98. Just like dropping bombs.
well, not like nefariously, not like she got it. It was not like performance enhancing vocal pipes or something like that.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer.
Etta James is a great.
Etta James is great.
Yeah, that is yes.
Maybe we need our tight end expert at some point to weigh in on.
Somebody put Kim Gordon, not good enough a solo career. I mean, Kim Gordon, obviously.
Wait, did
I
you
saw
say
Janis
James
Joplin
Julia?
on there. That's
You're
an
so
interesting.
right. Janis Joplin. So the
Well,
live
no.
act that I would want to see is not. It's not Janis Joplin, but it is not far off. Well, in terms of like era, I would want to go see Carlos Santana play Soul Sacrifice at Woodstock.
Practically the same person as Janis Joplin. Yeah.
Well, Janis Joplin, I think Woodstock, and like I think I would just go for that performance, and then I'd probably get out of Woodstock before all of the.
Well, you'd
terrible
want to see
things
Hendrix.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Hendrix is the answer, but Carlos Santana, that performance, it's amazing.
In the nerdy guitar way, because you play guitar.
Yeah, but just in like a.
Friend's right. My last spot goes to Miss Anna, who sang "I Dreamed Wet Dreams" at the Ospreys.
Yeah, so probably Hendrix, but I would say that Santana as like that like jam band format is like I think most guitar players just like love that stuff.
It's like the Justin Herbert of music, right? Like when someone's like really good at guitar,
Yes.
and you're like, yeah, but
Justin Herbert.
I don't need to ever hear that song again. I'm not saying Santana's like that.
No, there
I'm
are
just saying
guitarists like
there are
that.
people
Though.
who-
They play
yeah.
like stunt guitar, and it's
Right,
just
right.
like it's cool, but it's like
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's cool, but you're losing by 30.
All right. We should talk about the offensive side of the ball in this matchup.
I feel like we start with the offense every show.
I agree.
Talk about
It's
them
a
for an
lot
hour.
similar stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to
But
talk about.
there's a couple graphics Julia made that we should, not make wasted work.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
Why don't we go? Let's see what the graphics are and just talk about the graphics. That way, we'll. What were the graphics? I don't know what graphics you made. They were stuff that I sent, right? So I'm happy to talk about them. I just don't.
Just flash one up. Just pick
There's
one.
a play action one. Maybe we can start with that. I want to ask you guys: is the under center play action here to stay? Is the 6th offensive lineman here to stay? The
What a great graphic.
There's the graphic. Yeah, Eagles are still 21st in play action usage. They're 12th in success rate with play action. 28th in success rate without play action. These are on pass plays. So 53% with play action. Now, there's a sample size issue here. They've only done it 45 times. Less than 40% without play action. That's 235 times. The under center play action.
Jesus.
You okay?
Oh my God. Are you all
Bo
right?
just spit up like
Wrong
a
button.
gallon of
Oh my God. I thought this was a bit.
goodness.
No. But that reminds me, as I was looking down, thank you to whoever the sicko is who sent this.
What does it say?
Says, please do not put poop bags in my trash can.
Oh, nice. I like that.
I think so.
What's going on right now?
I think
Wrong pipe. You never drank something, got it down the wrong
90
pipe?
seconds ago, you're like, "Well, can we get to the offense?
Given-
You're doing spit takes and showing poop bag signs.
given the envelope that you took that out of, I think the proper way to thank the person who sent it to you was shout out to Amazon. But
Shout out to
yeah,
Amazon.
shout out to
true.
Amazon. All right.
All right.
Do we have the footage of that? Because I mean, I would
don't
like
think
to
so.
see it.
Well, we have the footage, obviously.
Well, no, I wasn't. I
No.
wasn't being shown. It was on the two of you.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, man.
You had to be there.
I can always say I was the closest person to that. Yeah, do you guys think that stuff's going to continue? Like the under center play action stuff, or was it a unique response to a very unique Brian Flores defense who insisted on rushing 6 guys and leaving everybody open behind it? And basically it was all a matter of if we can block these 6 guys, it's going to be wide open because they're playing basically like a cover 2 with only 5 guys, which meant the entire middle of the field was open throughout the game. So was it specific to that, or do you think they'll keep doing it?
What do you think, Bo?
I think it was more a result of that game than a new identity, but I do think we will see an uptick in it.
I agree. Like I think it was a like to use a football podcast word here. I think it was a bespoke plan for the Vikings, but maybe they stumbled into an identity like in the process.
I don't even know that it was a specific plan for the Vikings as much as it was they kind of
The way Jalen talked about
accidented into it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Jalen
like,
said we wanted to be under center more, but it was almost like he was talking about
For
the
the
way
run
to
game,
establish
right.
the run.
right.
Yeah.
So
I
what
think it was a
saying-
happy accident.
what I would say is like I haven't gotten like a strong sense from being around the team this week that it's like this is who we are.
Right.
Now, I mean, even if they believe that strongly, would we know that? Maybe not. So I'm leaving space open for that to happen. But I don't know. I was kind of expecting to hear that, like, yeah, this is something we can lean into, and I didn't quite hear that this week.
Yeah, the way the chess match played out in that game, I mean, the Eagles came out running under center. They ran outside zone. They ran toss. And the Vikings were just in a regular 4-man front with big nickel behind it. And then after those first couple of runs were somewhat successful, the Vikings switched, and they started to play essentially like a 6-1 front with 3 defensive tackles, only 1 edge rusher on the field. So instead of 2 edge rushers and 2 defensive tackles, they switched, and they kind of stayed in that against heavy personnel the rest of the way, and it kind of took away the run game. Some of the runs started to be unsuccessful, and that's when they kind of started to go more to they only tried 1 under center play action the first half. It was a bootleg to Dallas Goedert for 2 yards. And then all the reporting that DeVonta Smith is the one who called for the other stuff.
And I don't think there's ever been a sense that this is the kind of staff that puts together a game plan that they're waiting till the second half to unveil their game plan.
That's exactly right. Normally, like the stuff that they worked on, you're going to see in those first couple of drives,
like
and we didn't
see
it.
action right after the toss play. I think it was against the Rams.
Right, so there it's like in the first couple of games of the year too, they did we joke about how the first under center play would be play action, and then they'd run the next 17 times in a row out of it. This idea that under center is new isn't exactly accurate. They were doing a lot of under center in the first couple of weeks. They just weren't throwing out of it. They had done 5 under center play action plays the whole year, and they only did 4 this game. Like it's not like we're acting as if they were like the Rams in this game. They weren't. I mean, the Rams averaged more than 10 a game.
Out of it.
There were only 4. 3 of them were successful long passes to DeVonta Smith, and so of course it's a big thing that we're talking about. But all of those were against that coverage that you're literally never gonna see again all year. Like no one plays cover 2 with 5 guys in coverage. Like no one else other than Brian Flores does that. Yeah. So you're not going to necessarily have the coverage there for that. Keeping guys into block and blocking the 6 guys was what worked this week. I've been critical of the Eagles for keeping too many guys into block in past weeks, but I hadn't quite realized how extreme the keeping guys in has been. Of the 160 teams in the last 5 seasons in the NFL, the Eagles are keeping extra guys into block at the second highest rate out of those 160 teams. The 2022 Falcons are the only team that
won a Super Bowl,
kept guys more. The 2022 Falcons, they're the only team that kept more guys in the block than the Eagles are now. Now they are also the only team to have been blitzed more than the Eagles are now. So there is a relationship between the two, but the Eagles are being blitzed 34% of the time, up from 30 last year. I was trying to remember who it was. Yeah, I forgot to look. Was it
22?
I think that might be right.
Or was it
a year too early?
It was the year where everybody was gassing him up heading into the season, pretending like Desmond Ridder was going to be an answer quarterback.
22, yeah, it was Desmond. Well, he started 4 games that year.
It wasn't Kirk Cousins?
I think. Here, I'll tell you. It was Mariota.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
that makes more sense.
So it was 23 was the year when it was going into the season. It was going to be Ridder. This is the one where it's how many people do they leave into block, Julia?
So, I mean, we talk about how this coaching staff loves extremes while they say they don't, but they were second in the league at putting all 5 guys out in the route in 21, first in the league in 22. Drop back
percentage with all 5
and then slowly dropping 5th, 15th, and now 32nd by a mile. No one is close to that 58%. And I was surprised that Flores blitzed as much in this game because the Eagles are keeping guys in. They have 6 offensive linemen on the field. They're going to be able to block your 6 guys. I thought it was weird that he didn't do more sim pressures and dropping people out and having Jalen have to read. Now, they did do that a couple of times with drop 8, and they were able to hit the scramble drills, which was a nice thing to see.
And as you look at this, it's interesting because if you're listening on audio, it's in 21, Sirianni's first year, they were second in the league in terms of how 80% of the time all 5 receivers were in a route.
And they were getting blitzed above average in all 5 of these years, by the way. So it's not like they weren't getting blitzed.
Right. They were first in the league in 22, 5th in the league in 23. Last year, they go to middle of the league and 15th, and this year they're all the way, as you've explained, dead last. And that trend coincides with Jalen Hurts taking over the protection calls. And yes, they are getting blitzed at a very high rate, but it is very difficult to read into this anything other than this is a Jalen thing. because he's setting the protections in that first year. Like, that's Nick Sirianni's offense being installed.
Yeah.
They're putting all 5 guys out into the routes. And it kind of makes sense from like okay, if you've got Jason Kelce, the wily veteran who can probably tell pre-snap how many people are coming, he's more confident in his ability to predict how many people need to stay into block. That makes sense. And then as it goes to Jalen, especially if you're thinking as Jalen, like, you know, I'm probably only throwing one of 3 guys anyway. I might as well keep a guy in just in case.
He's never really been a check down quarterback either, right? Like, he's never really been someone who throws it to the running back in the flat as a check down.
He's
at a very high rate.
Right.
Even when that guy does go to the flat, and let's be honest, what's the running back going to do in this offense if he doesn't stay in to protect? He's probably just going to run to the flat or do a little, like check release over the ball. So if you're not going to throw that anyway, I guess you want to feel comfortable with the protection. The one thing that we should mention, in addition to being blitzed at the highest rate of any team this year, the Eagles are also being sim pressured at the highest rate of any team this year. So if you add the blitzes plus the sim pressures, that's over 50% of dropbacks where someone other than a defensive lineman is rushing the passer, and that's usually who the running back is responsible for in the protection call. And so if you think there's a good chance that they're going to bring somebody other than a defensive lineman, you want to keep the running back in for that, and that explains it. Mm-hmm. It's just not the way that they've answered the blitz in the past, right? In the past, it's been, well, it was a disaster for like 2023, for example. So it's not like it was good. But last year, the answer wasn't keep everybody in at this high rate.
Yeah. I mean, but they have been better against the blitz this year. But I think you are seeing the effect of like how few players they have on routes in the passing game for sure.
No, this is a good answer to the blitz. Yeah. My issue with this is when they don't blitz, and you still are keeping 6 in, or they're rushing 3 and you're keeping 7 in, things like that. Because we've seen a bunch of that this year. This isn't the best week to talk about it because we really didn't see it at all against the Vikings because of the way that Flores played. But in the past, we talked about it last week. They've been guessing wrong and leaving guys in, and then there's just nobody to throw to.
Sure.
And Mailata even talked about how, like, against Tampa Bay, for example, in the first half, it was going great. And then in the second half, when Bowles stopped blitzing and the Eagles just started going 3 and out every series, like, the way he put it, he was like, oh, it was like, great, they're not blitzing anymore. But wait, there's nobody to throw to now, right? Like, and so it's just a matter of thinking quickly, winning that chess match. Look, sometimes it's like rock, paper, scissors, right? You're not sure what they're going to do. You guess wrong. And you lose, and you wish you had done something different. But I feel like this staff, I think this is fair, is not necessarily, this offensive staff is not necessarily the quickest to adjust in game, right?
Yeah,
we haven't really seen them adjust in game to something the defense has done. Sometimes the initial script works, sometimes it kind of works out by chance, but we haven't really seen them adjust the way that we've seen the defensive staff adjust, for example.
So what is on your mind just from a matchup standpoint heading into the game?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, this defense for the Giants, they're still 32nd in EPA per rush allowed. They're 28th in rushing success allowed. But I'm not going to fall for this again, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this 2 weeks ago. The Eagles ran the ball the first 4 plays in that game. The third and fourth ones didn't work, and they just kind of never ran it again in the first half. And then in the second half, they had 2 3-and-outs that started with 2 runs each that just weren't executed right for whatever reason. At this point, I just don't trust this team to run the ball well. I mean, like, I don't know do we have those Saquon graphics? I mean, if you, like, these graphics are painful to look at. Saquon Barkley is near bottom of the league in success rate. He's bottom of the league in success rate when he doesn't have yards before contact. He's also bottom of the league in success rate when he does have yards before contact. And that's not necessarily on him. It just means that, like, even when he's getting the yards before contact, he's not getting them in a way where it's setting up like a big run for him. We see him turn like a -3 run into a +2 run, like once a game still, but he should not be at the very bottom of this. And I think part of it's him. I think he's just not making some of the plays he was before, but a lot of that's probably just because he's not comfortable. Like, he's not trusting the blocking.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
now,
you hear like the stories about him in New York is like sometimes he developed some bad habits because of the lines he played in front of or the lines that were in front of him. And I feel like maybe you're starting to see that sometimes, but I don't know. There are still those instances where it's like, man, like he was stopped dead in his tracks 3 yards behind the line, and he like makes 2 guys miss just to get 2 yards.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, look, I said this all of last year that him being on the Eagles is doing more for him than it's doing for the Eagles. I continue to think that that's true. Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's being proven true right now. If you think he's the same guy, why does he look like he's the 31st best running back? I mean, I don't think he's the 31st best running back, but there's only so much a running back can
You don't
do.
think he's far off?
Well, I'm just saying there's only so much a running back can do. By the way, I keep saying this, but there's no point in saying it. They're just not doing it. Set up throws to him. Like run pass plays for him. You know, like he's so good in space. If you can't get him in space in the run game, get him in space in the pass game. They're not going to be expecting it. You never do it.
Might jump over somebody guy with his butt.
Even if it's not like a basic screen, yeah, I mean, that was a check down to him on the reverse hurdle, right? For example, get him out in space and do it that way. I am not a hater, Claire. Be quiet. All right. Sorry.
dare you?
I will personally apologize to Claire later when I see her at drop off. All right.
He doesn't kill you first.
Yeah, well, that's true. Paulson Adebo is going to be out this game. So is Javon Holland, the post safety for the Giants. They were both out in the second half against Denver, and it really limited what they could do. I mean, the Giants played 21 snaps of big dime against the Eagles in Week 6. That's what they go to on passing downs. And what happened in that game with Holland out is Dane Belton, who normally comes in as the dime safety, had to play as one of the safeties. Belton and Newbin, the two safeties they have healthy, neither one of them are a natural post safety, so they played sides, which they don't normally do. They played left and right. And that made them less versatile in coverage, and it really hurt them in the middle of the field against Denver when they were giving up those 33 points in the fourth quarter in that collapse last week. It means their second linebacker has to stay on the field. He's not like a coverage guy, and so that's something that hurt the Giants last week. So I don't know what any of this means for the way the Eagles are going to attack, but they're gonna lose some versatility on us in a secondary that's already not very good. Now, if A.J. Brown's not playing, I don't know what any of this means, because if John Mechie is your third wide receiver,
Yeah, I mean, receiver depth aside, they just have not. I'm sure you guys probably talked about it earlier, but like the Eagles' offense has not really been functional since getting AJ Brown without AJ Brown.
Yes.
So it will be interesting to see how they look, because obviously DeVonta is having, well, now with the career game, like his season looks much better. But yeah, I mean, they have been significantly worse without AJ since acquiring him.
Oh, the games have been complete disasters without AJ. Yeah.
Do you remember watching Paulson Adebo's father play?
Well, can you remind me of his father's?
Paul Adebo.
What team was he on? Man, I can't believe I fell for that. So bad.
That is
Paul's
probably
son.
the best joke I've ever told.
All right, that was terrible.
I don't.
It does seem like a big chunk of players are sons of former players, and so it seemed like it was possible, but now I feel
It was
very silly.
painful to watch you go down that road with
Paul's son, Abida.
like the second you said
Congrats,
it, I don't
congrats,
know,
Bo.
something about like the tone in your voice. I was like, he's taking you for a ride.
Look, it made the rest of his day, so it's fine.
I will not remember this in 5 minutes.
Luby Friday.
It's just, there's so many shows. Who can remember them?
I remember them.
For now,
I'm slowly
for now you
descending
do.
into
Yeah,
madness.
You've only. How many shows have you done? I mean,
It's been 2 months, and I'm going to sound like my predecessor here. I come into the studio every day excited to do a podcast. Still, maybe
Me
it's
too.
the caprice of youth.
are you surprised on like Saturday when nobody's here? or-
That's from House of the Dragon.
Oh.
I wouldn't have used that naturally. Am I happy
Sun.
to what?
I just asked if you're surprised on Saturday that nobody else is here.
I've been in the studio a couple times, like with just myself here. It's nice. You got 3 TVs. Got great delivery options. You can tip
Right next door.
generously. You can tip generously to your delivery person and have a nice time. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Julia, did you think about your Mount Rushmore?
Ooh.
Oh,
We need to
Well,
hear this.
should I say the ones that you guys didn't name yet?
No, do yours.
no, yeah, do yours.
It's impossible, but I would definitely have Kate Bush,
Kate Bush.
Sinead O'Connor.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
I'm like teetering now because I think Etta James and Fiona Apple.
Mm.
Wow, Fiona Apple.
Okay.
All like good, like you have a good variety there. It's like you got some deep cuts. Etta James is, I think we kind of disrespected her. quite honestly. I'm saying we disrespect Etta James, and now you're like doing a bad Etta James impersonation.
He's just making your point for
I think
you.
Etta James has to go on my fourth spot over Alicia Keys. I mean, that just sounds ridiculous.
Oh, you're whacking Madonna?
No, Alicia Keys.
But you had...
Oh, yeah. I took Madonna off because it was just like not my personal... Sure. I mean, no shade to Madonna.
The one that it pained me to cut out was Cat Power, by the way. It's painful.
The least powerful superpower.
Cat Power. There you go.
You hate animals.
This
man.
is...
Oh, go ahead, Deniz.
You normally ask me about jerseys. We all know this is the Kelly Green game. And my mom is going to take Evren to the game. So, yeah.
You're not going?
Well, no. I mean, Emily and I are going to be sitting in my seats.
You couldn't
and then
possibly be bothered to take Evren yourself. You have too much to do.
I can't. Yeah, well, we're all going together. We're going to watch warm-ups together. But then he and my mom are going to sit.
Nice.
They'll be in our section, but, you know.
What do you mean, but not
but I won't
enough?
be responsible for taking care of him. Yeah. if he has to go to the bathroom or something, you know, that's not going to be on me. But yeah, no, he came to the Browns game last year, and you know that's when the season kind of turned around.
Yeah,
so
that's
you
true.
know, Fran was talking about this being a pivot point
Nick
in
was
the
famously
season.
yelling at him.
Yeah, that's right. Nick was yelling at everybody. Yeah, no, but it was he was very excited that he gets to go to the Kelly Green game. So.
Speaking of parenting, Deniz, do you feel like it's fair for me to put a stipulation in one of my swoopers next week? Like the winner of this item may not spend any time with their children?
Now, as someone who doesn't know like much about college football, I had no idea what the significance of Fran's...
I'm a Texas fan.
Okay.
And
okay.
I mean, Fran watches Texas because he is obviously always doing guys, but I don't think he can watch the replay of that game just as easily as he can watch it live.
Fran's watching the film later. He's not watching.
Yeah, exactly. He's not watching it live. But like Texas is one of the teams that, I mean, I know that now I'm making it sound like I only root for like these random teams because I talk about Aston Villa and Texas on this podcast. But like I do root for the Philadelphia teams. I went to Temple and covered the Temple football team. So I never like rooted for them. And I've been a Texas fan since I was a kid.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to feel about Fran's item because... Can you do like whoever wins this item has to fast all day Saturday or something?
Yeah.
Like if you're already planning on
slope.
fasting.
What kind of precedent are we
at some
setting
point,
here?
yeah, what do you know? Given how upset he was about given how upset he was about the strip items last year. Yeah, I'm just saying. Fran's looking for his swooper identity still. You know, I know he got the. I know he got the. I know he got the point last week, just like the Eagles ran some under center play action. But,
I agree with that.
You know, he's still in last place. He's still kind of struggling to figure out what his opening script is, like what his approach is. Yeah, I'm not sure. The advanced analytics are not friendly to Fran's swooper season so far.
I need your scouting report on me, but we can do it off air, so these guys don't hear your pointers for me.
We've got some super chats to close with. Dan Baxter says VJ Edgecombe dropped a comparison as a thief of joy. Somewhere Bjorn is smiling. I agree with that. Sensei says, ask the professor about AJ. Can you game theory his irrational acts?
I think AJ's recent behavior is best analyzed through behavioral economics, not game theory, where you have to go outside of just regular rational optimization and go with psychological part of what's driving him, because we don't really know what his objectives are.
Okay. Fresh Prince, are you skeptical when Jalen said that he has been pushing for under center play action? This reminds me of the ESPN article about the collapse in 2023 when it said that Jalen wanted more intermediate passes over the middle.
I don't think
I think that's an interesting comparison.
But he didn't say he was pushing for under center play action.
He wasn't. He didn't say he was pushing for play action. He said he was pushing for under center.
Yeah.
Which I do think is interesting.
And when he was asked about it again, he said, we really wanted to establish the run.
Yeah.
And
to me, I agree.
He didn't say the play action.
Okay, so that aside, Jalen saying he pushed for under center is still a good comparison to that 2023 ESPN article. I mean, like, I can't say as for a fact that Jalen has been pushing for shotgun snaps all these years, but it definitely is something that you've heard, like the team, the offense the coaching staff would have wanted more under center, and that Jalen didn't have a preference for it and not as comfortable with it. So it's an interesting question. I think that is fair.
Can I ask you an outlandish turkeys question?
Okay.
If AJ Brown is not traded at the deadline,
Okay.
so this is taken as AJ Brown is still an Eagle when the season's over.
No.
How many turkeys would you put on
0.
Jalen Hurts not being the quarterback in 2026?
0.
It's not 0.
I mean, in the sense, nothing's 0. Like a meteor could hit the earth and no one would be the quarterback.
I mean, with the caveat that I don't want to do this. 15?
No.
Wow.
No way. No way. 15?
Well, with the presumption that AJ's still
That's like you're rolling a die and getting like one of the 6 numbers. No way. There's no way it's that.
What would
high.
you have said?
9.
I feel okay about 15.
Okay.
Again, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be alarmist. And I think I've been on record on this show before as saying that I think like the AJ Brown trade conversation, I still feel more strongly that happens in the offseason. Maybe I don't feel as strongly.
Yeah.
But I would still say that like I think that could be a conversation in the offseason. So if you're taking that off the table, then that skews the turkeys. If you just said without the qualification, I probably would be at like 5, like 4.
CDP wants to know in a super chat, what's the funniest team to trade AJ to midseason?
That's a good question.
The Jets.
I was going to say the Dolphins.
You guys are just looking for bad teams?
Like bad team, but like also like.
I guess
Jets
actually
is
the
good 'cause-
Titans would be kind of funny, but
that would be funny. Jets is good because like it kind of does. No earmuffs, Lindsay. If you're out there, like there's like no hope, you know.
yeah.
Um.
Don't make the people think Lindsay is a Jets fan. Her husband is a
Yeah.
Jets
No,
fan.
you're right. I apologize, but I think
Don't put that stink on her.
But she
Well,
just
but she chose her husband though. So
Could have been arranged. We don't know.
Jesus.
What do you mean? That's not bad. It could have been. We haven't gotten the story.
about as likely as Jalen Hurts not being the quarterback. Yes.
Possible.
Funniest team that AJ Brown could get traded to. The Browns? Name
Browns
fun,
would be funny.
aside?
Yeah.
I'm not finding any of these funny.
Yeah.
As someone who wants them to just stay here and
Yeah, that's fair.
somehow, against all odds, become happy again.
Yeah.
There
I think
was
the Jets
there were
is
there
pretty
was
funny.
talk of how AJ and Jalen Hurts weren't talking to each other last
Maybe the
year.
Bengals. The Bengals would be funny
Why would
BG
that be- oh,
because they've already got to, like, he would still be mad about not getting the ball enough.
But I don't know.
No, he
they'd
would get the
win.
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just because they have other good receivers.
Yeah.
I feel like that. Yeah.
They throw the ball like 40 times a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This thing with like him and Jalen being the issue, wasn't this an issue last year? And then they were doing like kid and play dances in December.
It's been an issue for years. I think that is fair to point out.
Right.
But I think both things can be true, that it's been an issue for years,
But it's just worse now.
but it seems to be harder to navigate for them right now. What a way to end the show. This conversation, like this AJ Brown conversation, has really like run from it, hide from it all you want. Like it comes all the same. Like I feel like I don't know. I'm not doing a good job of explaining it. It just kind of seemed like this is going to be a week where we didn't talk about it, and it's not. And I understand like there will be people in the chat saying, "Why are you guys talking about this? Like, why are you dignifying it or whatever?" But it's like, again, like you said this very well like a month ago. Like, if you think that these conversations aren't happening in the building, like you're kidding yourself. So it's a conversation that won't go away.
It's why it's our favorite TV show. Always a soap opera.
What does Howie say? This isn't Days of Our Lives.
Is that what he says? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
he said that before. He's
Except
been
it
like,
is.
This isn't Days of Our Lives.
It clearly is. That seems to be how they like it.
Happy birthday.
No, not like that. Not like that. Oh, no. Just like a normal, please.
How quickly and adamantly EJ just started begging him to stop.
Because I knew exactly. I mean, like the second I heard
It's an accent of his choice. Oh my goodness. You know he's just gonna do it now.
Mr. Motter. Happy birthday. Mr. Motter. Happy birthday, Mr. Motter.
Does the audience even know what you're responding to?
the podcast audience. has
Oh
no
my
idea.
goodness.
Yeah, Julie's got it in the bottom third.
Yeah, the podcast.
Oh, okay, okay.
Nate Berge saving us with a super chat at the end says, "Have you guys discussed the cap issues with this trade?"
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's not good. They're going to take on a ton of dead money, but if you're going to get the right, if you're going to get a 1 and a 2, it's worth it.
Yeah, I think again, it's like the cap isn't going to be the thing that keeps them from doing something like that. I mean, before the trade deadline, I think that that's more valid. But I mean, at some point, you're going to have to hit. If you decide that you need to trade AJ Brown, like you're taking the cap hit at some point, regardless. Pretty much. I know that it's softened in the offseason, but still, like at that point, to your point, like you focus on getting the most you can for him. You don't focus on like the cap hit.
Yeah. All right.
You almost killed 2 people in the studio with this impersonation.
It's not my fault.
Like I just I just hear Julia coughing uncontrollably. Like
Yeah, about 4 hours ago, Julia said, Jamie asked her if she was okay to come in. She said, because she was very sick yesterday. She said, I am okay. I just, it hurts to laugh. So don't make me laugh today.
thanks a lot.
Sorry. All right. What a show. That'll do it for this episode of the PHLY Eagles podcast. We have you covered on Sunday. Full kickoff show, halftime show, post-game show. Hoflax with the super chat says, I demand more Eartha Kitt-based analysis. Sorry, too late. I'm more of a Jupiter Kit fan myself.
No.
Bigger.
No. What are we doing here?
I used to like Pluto a Kit, then all of a sudden she didn't exist anymore.
Are you like stalling for the injury report to come out at this point?
That'll do it. We will talk to you on Sunday. More content coming this weekend on the PHLY channels. As always, Joe Rockhead, ESPN keeps saying EJ is not limping. Any truth? I don't know. We love you.
We all silly like the mayor.